No, wait, no, that's not even what they say. It's Nick, and we're almost done through the day, and we're live at the Arival event in Las Vegas. I'm here with Carrie from Miles Partnership. So just tell the viewers kind of a little bit about Miles Partnership and what you do there specifically.
Sure, we're one of the world's leading tourism marketing agencies. We help destinations, hotels, attractions, and airports engage with, reach, and convert travelers.
And so there's a lot of different aspects, airports, destinations, totally different ways
Big
for
mix.
conversions. Airports, I love airports so much. I'm just like a big airport fan, and that's why I like Vegas, because I feel like it's one big airport. So when you say convert travelers in an airport sense, what exactly does that mean?
It's really bringing awareness. I mean, our primary business, we work with maybe one or two airports. So our primary
Tell me
business
about that.
is...
That's great, because tell me about the little business that maybe is a big business soon. I like that.
It's really about bringing awareness of ease of access to all of the great destinations in the United States. And that ties into working with your local DMO as well. Our primary business is working with states and cities. We work with about 90 across the United States. We also have a footprint abroad, and we work with America as Brand USA's partner to market to international travelers as well.
And so you basically are looking for like different physical channels that you can get the message out, and different ways and means that you can do that for these
Yeah, we have varying
destinations?
scope of service for our destination partners. So that ranges from creative and branding services to owned channel and asset management, optimization, marketing, content marketing, social, etc.
So full package,
Full
right?
package,
All the different
yeah.
things.
Yeah, I didn't wear my trench coat to
you're
open
just
up and
like,
show you
I got
today,
it
but
all.
like, yeah.
So for destinations, I know a lot of times they do rely on the vendors and things to kind of get things going, push them forward on the marketing side and making sure they're best practices, but also trying new things. And I love destination marketing because it's one of the, just kind of like consumer marketing. I guess it's very similar because it is marketing consumers, but it's always forward-looking. Not always, but a lot of times it's very great. There's lots of like heartstrings. There's lots of fun things happening. Where are you pushing your clients now? Where are you trying to bring them on the destination marketing side? Is it every destination different, or do you kind of find some themes that right now we're going to lean on family because people want closer ties, or every destination is different? Like, walk me through that.
Well, I think it's identifying their unique value proposition and the emotional experience, the transformative experience that you're going to have when you come to that destination. That is large in part relying on storytelling as a mechanism to convey that message. So having really rich experiences, interactive experiences. We're helping our clients foray into live streaming video, 360 video. Personalization is also huge as well. So we'll leverage a range of tools to make sure that we're delivering a personalized experience to their audience. And you mentioned like helping their constituents become better tourism marketers. That's a key role in what I do with the company is industry education and helping these small to mid-sized businesses, cornerstone partners, help them understand trends around the American traveler and how to become smarter with their tourism marketing, tracking metrics that matter, being smart about their advertising mix.
And the size, I imagine, of the destination determines a lot.
Right.
Maybe not necessarily budget-wise. Sometimes small and medium still can get budget, but do you find that, so emotion is key, kind of what we're saying, right? Find the emotional resonance of the particular destination. Between a small, medium, and a very large destination, do you find that they have greater expectations of the types of travelers that they're going to bring in, or is it that every destination really just has to find the profile that matters for them right now, or is there a sweet spot? Like with a Boulder who's close to Denver, how do they manage that, I guess?
I think you have to find where your wins are, right? And in this complex, fractured media landscape, it's more important than ever to focus on your audience segments and your personas and to create relevant content that talks to your audience. So defining who has the highest likelihood to visit, creating content to speak exactly to those audiences that's rich, that focuses on a lot of visuals and leverages new technologies is really a key component that we help guide them toward.
And how do you help them be a little bit ahead of the curve, right? Because people book in advance, and maybe a city is changing demographically, or maybe there's new attractions that come on board. Every year is a little different for a destination. So how do you make sure they're going forward? Because if someone is a 6-month booking window and you miss it, that's tough for a destination. You can't recover after the fact.
Yeah, I think it's understanding those lead times in the markets that you're advertising in and getting in front of that. But one thing that we pride ourselves on at Miles is we spend about 6 figures a year on research, creating white papers to understand how the American traveler is navigating this complex planning landscape all throughout the travel planning life cycle. So we're really customizing strategies to get in front of them in a varied mix at the right time, at the right place, with the right media on the right device. And really pushing our clients to leverage new technologies to stay ahead of the fold around personalization, video, even virtual reality, which we're on the precipice, I think, of seeing that, explode.
Are they liking the 360 VR, or are most people still thinking it's just too early, it's a fad? What are people as in destination marketers thinking on that front? You find some interest on 360 and VR as similar but different?
Yeah, we actually partner with Destination Analysts. They're a leading third-party market research firm in the travel space, as you know, out of San Francisco. They conduct the quarterly State of the American Traveler research. And last year we did an iteration on new technologies to better understand, should we be, leveraging this, or is it a little too early? And you find both with VR and, live video that people are interested in it, 360 video. They just don't really know how to attain it yet. We did some interesting VR experiences with our St. Pete Clearwater clients. So we love the clients that are, ready to roll up their sleeves and take some risk. And we've seen some good wins there. So it's a little early, but it's going to start to take off, I think.
So when you sense a client that's willing to kind of try something a little new, what do you, I guess not promise them, but setting expectations on like the VR thing, is it, what do you tell them as you're pitching them on this VR experience? You know they want to hear a pitch and you guys are doing it. How do you preface it, for them to have the right expectations?
Well, I think you want to root that in research, right? Of here's the interest in it, here's the actual numbers of people that are adopting it and utilizing it. So there's a delta there, right? So from an activation or usage standpoint, you've got to manage that expectation. But I also think that being an early adopter is a benefit because that has some nice PR wins. So the coverage that Visit St. Pete Clearwater got, both at shows being highlighted at Destinations International and in the news around some of the things that they do, gives you some of those wins from a reach standpoint that the technology or activation might have missed in terms of utilization.
So it's not really that, the risk is maybe less than some people think, is it just the conservative side? We're like, I just don't want to invest the money. Is that really what it comes down to? Usually just budget, or they feel like they want to do like measurable things or things they've done before that they're comfortable with?
You see a lot of that, I think, in destination marketing, right? Because it all comes down to transactions, heads and beds, economic impact of that, and how they're all funded. And you've got a lot of these boards that are very scripted into on-channel, on-site engagement, and these mediums that we've been using forever to get there. So it's a risk and it's scary. And there's a very small set of our clients, I would say, that are really brave to kind of venture out into that, but we love working within those realms because you're able to demonstrate to the board and not retrain them, but help them understand new metrics to measure and things to measure that actually show signal of intent to travel. And you've got to reach audiences in new ways in this day and age. People are using 140 websites, up from 38 last year, according to Expedia, in the researching and booking phase. And with Google's new search algorithms of being more of an answer engine, it's more important than it's ever been before, as you know, to create those really rich content experiences that can't be replicated in more of that turnkey fashion. So.
And that's good when you can come into VR and do, something that's very unique.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that I may know, immersive. Yes.
That's the word, immersive. Rich experiences
yes.
that are very immersive.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's like that's what it should be.
Yeah.
But also an immersive experience is travel itself, right?
Right.
I mean, you're kind of like immersed in it. So let's talk about, this question I always like to ask, even though it's like, in our world, it's probably I know the answer, but will VR replace travel?
I know, right?
I probably know what you're going to say, but let's talk about it. I got to make sure I ask.
I don't think it's ever going to replace travel. No, I almost think, and this is just me, search or a gut instinct feeling, that it's going to provide some interesting ways to experience a destination. I see a lot of application in VR in the meetings and convention segment. You can easily kind of warp a meeting planner to the real live site walkthrough tour. So you're going to be able to bring, in theory, a larger audience from an accessibility standpoint to show them your product. Whereas, flying them in to do on-site tours, you might have less of a reach, more cost, less accessibility. But I think that it theoretically has the potential to whet the appetite of more frequent travel, more destinations that are longer reaching that people might be afraid to go visit. So if you get a little taste of that, I think it's going to actually convert more people and help bring the needle forward. So it's easier to share. You can share that experience with people that are in other places.
And maybe they can create, certain types of perspectives too that you might not get elsewhere, or not have an interest to skydive or, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Pro tip: don't do VR if you are pregnant in your first trimester and sick in the morning. I learned that at Destinations International.
Did you get?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I had to grab onto a table.
Sometimes it can be quite the experience.
Yeah.
You're just like, what happened? Did you see the Facebook Spaces thing where you can kind of like hang out in VR with each other?
Yeah.
I'm very curious how that's the whole other thing. Once the whole world's kind of be created in VR, it's like, will destinations have an imperative to build a virtual, themselves in virtual, so people can like actually hang out in like St. Pete virtually.
Exactly.
It's like kind of crazy to think that, we're going to be paid $10 million to make a virtual St. Pete to make sure that, people in Facebook Spaces can hang out.
Yeah, we actually did a demo of Facebook Spaces at our booth at Destinations
Did you really?
International. Yeah, we did.
I need to come to that conference. I've never been. It sounds awesome.
It is a really great conference. Yeah. So, and that's also where I think the site tour idea of bringing media planners virtually into your space is really cool. It's going to connect families, that live in other countries. And so I do think it's important. Again, I think it's very early in that space, but it's pretty exciting.
And you think that the destination marketers, if the tide is turning to be more experimental, that we're getting looser, or is it always going to be tough because a lot of it is government money and all the other attendant needs to local economies and all that?
Yeah.
Or do you see kind of more experimentation in the future for destinations?
I definitely see more experimentation, honestly, based on the research, right? You've got to meet people where they are, and based on the new constructs of search algorithms and where people are searching for their content is really forcing the hand. Our new partnership with Google Destinations, I think, is a good example of that. DMOs, as you know, large in part have been afraid of Google siphoning off traffic and then creating Google destinations. And if they're, entertaining this in their ecosystem, what does that mean for us and what value do we create? So we're really trying to help bridge that and say, hey, we have to help train our constituents and our boards again about off-channel management and metrics. Don't be afraid of Google. Go ahead and partner with them so that you can own that content and have a voice in that content and get attribution for that content on Google destinations. They need your help. It's not sending traffic to your site, although it can, but you have that footprint and from an attribution standpoint. So it's a very significant sea change to shift your mindset to that. But we've seen that also in the meetings and convention space. Everything used to be booked through the CVB, and then with the emergence of third party, we all have this relevance question, but nothing ever really goes away. You just adapt and evolve, and I think that it's forcing that to happen faster than ever before, just with the emergence of media and new channels, so it's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting for some people and also overwhelming for others, right? And that's a good opportunity for vendors, right, to come in and make that happen. That's been great. Thank you so much. You have so much to say. I feel like we could talk for a long time.
We could.
So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good rest of the conference.